she's an amazing chef, guys. She's worked with so many people. One of the folks that I know is Will Smith. Who else have you worked with, and maybe even companies?
I have, for the past 5 years, I've chefed for Yankee ace Garrett Cole and his family.
Okay.
Alvin Kamara of the New Orleans Saints.
Okay.
I have cooked for Pauletta Washington, Denzel's wife. I've cooked for Russell Simmons. I have cooked for Sir Lucian Grange, who is the head. His son married Sophia Richie. That's probably how people know him, but he's a big, big deal. Robert F. Smith and his wife, Hope Smith, I've cooked for them. I've had some great opportunities.
Yeah. Hey guys, welcome back to the Smitty and D Show. Of course, I am Tony D, and as you can see, the voice is back. I am so excited. My trip to Japan offered some beautiful, I will say, some attire. So I would like to thank the folks of Tokyo for this beautiful ensemble. But we're gonna get it moving, guys. We've got somebody who's a powerhouse here today. I've known her for a few years. We've got so many connections, and I know that she is going to help impact not only your spiritual life, but also your personal journeys. It's going to be an in-depth conversation on so many levels. I'm actually looking forward to this. First off, she is a chef, but she's also a cultural ambassador for the African, this is a word that I have a hard time with, diaspora. Did we do it right? They say it both ways. Welcome to the studio, guys. Miss Cynthia Péan.
Thank you. It is an honor to be here.
Oh my gosh, it's been a minute. We've been trying to let this cook up just a little bit.
And I finally made it.
I know, you look amazing.
Thank you.
You look a little lighter. What's going on? How many pounds?
From my biggest, I've lost 83 pounds.
What?
Yes, but from when you last saw me, I would say I've maybe 60 pounds?
60 pounds.
Yeah.
You look amazing.
Thank you. I feel amazing. I am living my best life.
I love that.
Yes.
What's the secret?
You know what? The secret, it's a three-pronged effect, and I am not going to gatekeep, and I'm not going to be concerned about what anybody's going to say. GLP-1 is something that I used along with hormone replacement therapy because I was menopausal.
Okay.
And like many women, I had that middle-age spread that was coming, all that cortisol was going around my midsection.
Yeah.
And I was very cardio heavy, and I did not understand nor appreciate what weight training could do.
Ooh.
So I did that along with hormone replacement therapy, which I was completely ignorant about how important it was for heart health. That estrogen basically is like the lubricant for your body. And so when it's gone, that's when all these aches and pains. At one point, I thought I had like ALS.
Oh, wow.
I thought maybe I was like having some dementia because of the brain fog.
Yeah.
All of these things were happening because my body was depleted of my hormones. And so I did all three of these things in concert. And I know that GLP-1 is one of those things that people tend to be, on one side or the other. But for me, it was a tool. It wasn't a solution, but it was a tool that I incorporated over like a 5-month period.
Wow.
And it has changed my life.
That is amazing. I'm going to be honest. I tried it. It did not work for me.
Manjaro, tirzepatide?
Tirzepatide, yeah.
Wow.
And the reason being is I've never been a big sugar eater, period. So my blood sugar levels have always been around 70 something, 80, 70. But when I took that medicine, it dropped all the way down to the 50s. I mean, we've had some incidents here where I had to stop the show to get sugar.
Wow.
And if you know anything about it, that medicine, it takes a minute for things to digest. So you eat some sugar and then you got to wait 2 hours for it to kick in. I'm putting candy and orange juice underneath my tongue. But I mean, it's dropped as low as 54. And then so the doctors were like, listen, I think is it hypoglycemic? They're like, how long have you been this way? I was like, what are you talking about? I didn't even know that was a thing.
Wow.
But my blood sugar.
You know what? I'm glad you said that because it's so easy to suggest things to people without knowing very specifically. Make sure you know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
Make sure that you get all of, testing done prior because
you have no idea.
You could pass out behind the wheel.
Oh my gosh. And several times I'm talking about like I had to go to the hospital. Wow. Shaking, sweating. I was like, oh, this is it. This is it. I'm going. Take me now. You know,
Wow.
like it's happening.
Wow.
So there's something else that we're going to get ready to get on. But, you know, exercising obviously every day is something that, you know, we stay on top of. But I've been watching your journey online, and it's been fascinating, but it's also been inspiring.
Thank you.
Have people come to you asking you, you know, what have you been doing?
You know, the first person who told me that they were inspired by me brought tears to my eyes, and it was my husband.
Oh,
yeah, he said, "You're inspirational. You inspired me," and that meant a lot.
Bernard's had his own weight loss journey too.
Yes, he has. Yes, he has. I've had people come to me, and I like to say, yes, that weight is part of it. You know, I mean, you can't not see that I've lost a lot of weight, but there is a joy that I have. And weight loss has played a part of it, but it's so much more. It's so much more spiritual and emotional. And, you know, physicality is just one of those things, but I'm in my 50s. I turned 54 on May 3rd.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you. I'm just embracing my life, and I'm living it to the fullest.
Do you think there's pretty privilege associated with weight loss?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I will say that I have been somebody who always got compliments about being attractive. But this is another level. This is another level.
Yeah.
And it could be that I'm emoting something even more so because I'm walking
You're even
with so
more
much
confident.
more confidence.
Yeah.
And I feel strong because I can lift weights and all of these things that I'm challenging myself to do in my 50s that I never did. I never did it. I never saw the importance of it. I was telling my husband as we were driving over that this was the first time in my life where I decided that I wanted to be healthy, not fine. I didn't want to fit in a certain clothes.
For vacation.
It was just like, I want to be healthy, like just straight up healthy, that when I take off my shirt, you see that muscle. I want that. And my 53rd year was my, what do they call it, your golden birthday? Because I turned 53 on 5/3 last year. And there was something about that.
A shift
just took off.
Yeah. I love that. As far as your spiritual journey, can you take me and walk me through not just weight loss, but there's some spiritual stuff that's happening too, mental, spiritually, and probably, I'm sure, physical. Can you walk us through that? When did you start this spiritual journey, and what sort of things have been on the path?
You know, when I think back to when I first started to really question what I was espousing or what I was a card-carrying club member to, was when I moved to New York City.
Okay.
And I decided I wanted to grow dreadlocks. I wanted to grow locks.
Yes.
And
I remember that.
Yeah, there was something about that decision that made me start questioning Eurocentric standards in religion. And around that time, I was raised in the Seventh-day Adventist faith, which tends to be a very conservative, was a very conservative type of congregation. And there was all this hoopla was going on about clapping in church.
I remember.
And these kinds of things. And this was right when I was starting to lock my hair. And I thought to myself, why is the way that my people naturally worship, why is that bad and frowned upon?
Ooh.
You know, like I had just come back from South Africa with my brother and his group, and we got off the plane, and there were these people singing these gorgeous harmonies and melodies. And I had never felt closer to God in that moment.
We have to also say Alvin is part of Take Six.
My brother is a part of Take Six.
It's part of the phenomenal Take Six.
So, you know, I just started to see things that were just running counter to this indoctrination, this very Eurocentric, like sanitized
versions of spirituality.
So that's when it started, and then over the years things have happened. But you know, when you're bathed in that stuff, you get 2 feet out and you get pulled back in, and whenever you question things or you introduce something that does not fall under that guise and that umbrella, you're told that it is dark, you're told that it is not of God, you're told all these things, and all of these things come from our culture. They come from Africa and things like that. So what you're being told is you are, when Trump was,
I was ready for that one.
When Trump was, this is the craziest thing to me. And if there are any evangelicals that are watching this, you can say that actually that is true. I think it was the election night when Trump was lost, when he lost in 2020, and Paula White was on the stage, like she was calling somebody. But she kept on saying, we're calling angels from Africa. We're calling angels from Africa, to do whatever work that had to be done to make sure that Trump won. She kept saying that, and I was like, why is she calling angels from, like, there's special angels in Africa? What is that about? Well, there is a belief, and this is taught within evangelical circles, that places like Haiti and the continent of Africa are so dark and demonic that special angels with supernatural powers have to hover over the continent, because otherwise, I guess we would just go up in flames. We're so dark and demonic and devilish that these special angels, they do that. But she's calling these special angels away from Africa and away from Haiti to come do some work for Donald Trump. When you hear things like that,
right,
and then I say to myself, how can I trust anybody who believes that my origins are so dark, when you all are the ones who've done the darkest things in history, right? How can I trust anything that you say? And so this leads into my conversation
a whole lot here
about spirituality, because it is, you are then telling me how I'm supposed to worship. How can I trust that you are not interfering with my direction, my connection with God? Why do I have to worship God this certain way?
Yeah.
My mother was from the West Indies, and my father is from Africa. And they would both tell me stories about how if somebody had a pain in their head, somebody would say, oh, you see that bush? Boil that bush, drink some tea, and it'll be gone. These people knew how to treat high blood pressure, gallstones, all these things, just through nature.
Herbs and
We have been taught to distrust our innate calling to the divine and to Mother Nature. And that's happened all in pursuit of capitalism, right? Why do I need to, tithes are gone. If I'm not going to church every week, pastor's not going to get that new car.
Yeah. Or
because I'm not paying, because I'm not paying tithes. So a lot of this, for me, I started to see a lot of this as like, how can I really trust this? And I believe in God. I believe in the Divine One. I just got back from a week in Ecuador in the Amazon, where I had an experience unlike no other. I saw Shuar Indians speaking to the divine. If you remember in the Old Testament of the Bible, whenever people went into the most holy place, they had to be immaculate. Nothing could be like the lamb had to be slaughtered this way. And if anybody even attempted to go into the most holy place and they weren't perfection, that was it, right? But I'm seeing this little Indian guy like this tall who communes with God every single day. And it speaks to me about his heart, about who he is, that he can stand before the Almighty and just worship him. Why can't I do that?
Why? That's what I was telling you earlier. That's why I've evolved. I don't believe that you need a middleman to get to the Creator.
We do not.
And I knew that before I was even a Christian. I was talking to Creator long before. And all of a sudden, something told us that we needed to go to a place where a certain type of thing, carry a certain type of book, believe a certain type of way, to be able to talk to the person or entity or whoever, higher self that created us.
I mean, it's just, how did we connect with God before these things were instituted?
I tell people all the time, if you were born anywhere else in any other country, you wouldn't have the same beliefs.
Oh, absolutely not.
You'd be fighting for something completely different.
Yeah.
And believing and holding on to that truth. It's crazy. I just came back from Japan, and I remember growing up going to Oakwood, and I was taught that, everything else is bad. Like, if it's not this way, it's bad. If it's secular, it's bad, right? There's countries that are in poverty and this and that because they don't believe, and this is bad. These bad things are going to happen to them, and they're living in filth. And I go to Japan, not a Christian country, one of the most organized, beautiful countries I've ever been to. The people are so kind, and they have this level of morality where they look to help others. Like, it's not about self. It's like, I gotta look out for the common man. Common things. You're going up an escalator, everyone moves to the left to allow for people who need to go up faster to go up faster. They take their shoes off before they enter certain buildings, temples, so on and so forth, so they don't track in stuff. They also have shoes or slippers to use to go to the restroom. It's different from your regular house slippers.
Really?
Yeah, because apparently there's certain germs in the bathroom that belong in the bathroom that shouldn't be coming out, right? So it's stuff like that. It's looking out for your common man. It's so bad that if you dropped your wallet, and I've seen this in the subway, if you dropped your wallet or a coat or a jacket, someone will fold it up and lay it right there for you so you can come back and get it.
Wow.
They don't, like, stealing, what is that? And then you go on a train and you don't have to worry about hearing other people's conversations or being disrespected by other people, or someone talking crazy. And this is like, wait a minute, and they're not Christians?
But
because Christianity teaches you that is the end all be all. In order for you to have this, this society of greatness or beauty or whatever, you have to invoke a level of Christianity into it.
We I can only speak as an American. We as a country have shifted so far away from community, and that's one of the things that I'm most proud of as being a person of color, because we still have not abandoned it. And I think that's why we've been able to survive so much, is because we do value and invest in family. There's so much individualism that's out there, and people act as though they don't need anyone or anything, and that's simply not true. And even if you think that you're able to, maneuver through life without attachments and things like that, if you did have those attachments, your life would be so much richer, And it's just like, there's so little value. One of the things that I love to do, and I know you came to our home in Tampa, but I don't know if we had a dinner. One of the things my husband and I love to do is entertain.
We did have a lunch with the doctors.
Okay.
Yeah.
We love to entertain, and I'm a chef, so when I cook, I want
It's amazing. She can make ketchup taste good. I hate ketchup.
When we do dinners, I cook, and I one of my love languages is acts of service. And so I love to set it out. We've got chafing dishes. It's nice, but it's not stuffy. But we want people to come. We've got our music playing, and we want people to come. They'll sit, they'll have brunch, they'll have dinner, and we'll just invite random groups of people. And people will stay for hours, and we love that. And we recognize not only do we like hosting and entertaining, we love to see people connect.
Yeah.
People really are excited to be invited someplace where they don't have to worry about it, and they can just sit down and just talk, because people really don't have that many opportunities to connect with people
anymore.
Even married couples.
Yeah.
If you have children especially.
Yeah.
So creating these kinds of experiences is something that we really, really love to do as a couple. And we've been kind of in limbo, but we're announcement.
What?
We likely will be moving out of the country. We had bought some land in Costa Rica, but we nixed that. And we are looking more towards the continent. And one of the things I'm looking forward to is having these salons at our house where we invite our friends. We have friends that are gay. We have friends that are Palestinian. We have friends that are Jews. We have friends that are atheists. We have friends that, and we love it. Yeah. We love that we have a group of people that we can learn from. If your friend group is exactly like you, you're wasting time.
All day.
So we look forward to that, and I'm hoping to continue that when we go to the motherland.
So I know we talked a little bit about it, going to Accra and Kenya and all these other things, but I'm with you. I've been looking for another place. So I will be getting a citizenship, dual citizenship in Ghana.
Oh, okay.
So I'm looking forward to that. But let's talk a little bit about Ghana and your connection to it. So as far as I knew, I thought you were Liberian.
My father is from Liberia.
Yeah.
My father's a crewman from Liberia. I always have to make that designation because his people were always on the continent, always in Africa. Not knocking American Liberians, but my daddy is crew. And so one side of my family has never dealt with any kind of enslavement or anything like that. It's like 100% uncut.
Yeah.
Then my mother's side of the family, my mother was from Guyana, formerly British Guyana, and her heritage is East Indian, like Madrasi Indian, and African. And then on her mother's side, she was black and white. So that's where my mother's from. But the slaves that were brought, the enslaved that were brought to Guyana were from Ghana. They were specifically from Ghana. And when I first went to Ghana 7 years ago, I dated Ghanaian guys. I didn't really know much about Ghana as a country, though. But something happened when I got there. And it was like, this is home. And
I've heard that a lot.
When we went to Elmina Castle, which is where the door of no return is, I remember standing and looking out the door of no return to the waters that would have taken these slave boats. And they tell you the stories about how the women were brought there and they were fattened up and they were greased down because they wanted them to look a certain way. And sometimes the governor would bring one of the girls upstairs and she would get pregnant. And so there's a whole village around Elmina Castle of lighter skinned people because they were mixed race because of this dude. Yeah. So when I stood at the door of no return and I looked out at the water, it was a spiritual experience. And I said, when you talk about trauma, cellular trauma, right? That these women and these men, they're taken from their land, they're mixed with people speaking different languages, they don't know where they're going, total terror and trauma, right? That's still within many of us. You talk about epigenetics, right?
Yeah.
So it's still within us. And then I come back to Ghana, and my great-great-great-grandmother probably stood right there and said, I will come home one day. And I came home. And that's what I felt in that moment. And it's just kind of like, wow, I've completed the circle by coming here. And I didn't even know. And I really believe that that's what happens to a lot of African Americans when they go to Ghana. There's something inside of them that just goes, I'm whole. Like I'm back. Your sacrifice was not in vain. Everything that you went through, the fact that you even survived that Middle Passage, to be treated like trash, and then people drug themselves up and did better and did better and did better, and now I can choose to come back here.
That's amazing. Let's talk about your great-great-great-great-great-grandfather.
My great-great-grandfather. So this is on my mother's side. My great-great-grandfather was from Calcutta, India. And I have an aunt who is the matriarch of our family who shares all these stories, and she tells me how my great-grandmother's Indian family were very dark Indians. And in India, there is a caste that are known as the untouchables, and they are very, very dark. When you're part of a caste in India, you don't get out of the caste. That's where you are. Have you seen, oh my goodness, Isabel Wilkerson? She wrote the book Caste, but there was a film that was put out, and she talked about the Dalit people, who their job, basically, they swim through excrement, and they make sure that the holes are unplugged so the waste can go. They actually show it. So these people, they don't even question it. This is their life. The untouchables are such that they're not even worthy to be looked upon, right? And with the realization that my great-great-grandfather was likely one of those people, the only reason he was able to escape that was because he took a chance and he got on a boat to go to a country he knew nothing about, which turned out to be Guyana. But I have envisioned this man probably just with some kind of simple cloth around him. And his path was determined in India. He was an untouchable. But he gets on this boat for whatever reason, and he lands on a sugar plantation, Canal Tolda, in Berbice, Guyana. And there, some kind of how he connects with a formerly enslaved African woman, and they have my great-grandmother. And my great-grandmother had my grandfather, and they had my mother and then my brother. Untouchables cannot escape their caste. They can't. It's not even a conversation. This formerly enslaved woman meets this untouchable man on a plantation, and in 3 generations, this man who was not worthy to be looked upon has nephews that are physicians that own their own practices. They have my brother, who you mentioned, who is a 10-time Grammy Award-winning singer, who has stood before kings and queens and presidents. This man, who was an untouchable, this is what has come from his life because he took a risk. He left what was familiar. And I think about us, and this is why I am so passionate about the pursuit of excellence, because so many of us have settled into mediocrity.
Ain't that the truth?
And we're still doing well. You know what I'm saying? There's still people, and that's why people do it, because they're like, I'm driving this car, I've got my little firm or Klarna payments, and I can get my stuff that I want off the real. You know what I'm saying? Like, people feel like I can go out and have my drinks every now and then. But what if we pursued excellence in all things as a people?
We used to. But we learned. It's almost like what those frogs jumping in the
they can do mediocrity all day. We're seeing it on blatant display.
They get awarded.
They can do mediocrity all day. That's not who we are. So I feel very strongly that we have got to figure it out and get it together as a people. If we do, especially now.
How do you feel about the state of African Americans right now? And we're talking about the youth. We're talking about social media. We're talking about regular media. We're talking about walking outside. I mean, you live a little, you don't live in Atlanta, but it's quite different here. So when I go home, when I go anywhere, I am looking at the crack of somebody's butt. Or the cheeks, or the thighs, or the breast. I mean, nothing is hidden. Nothing is sacred. How do you feel about that?
It's very disturbing to me because I grew up in an era like you that elegance was like these graceful, elegant women were just, I wanted to be like them.
Diane Carroll. And
Yeah,
Diana
I wanted to
Ross
be
and
like them.
Jane
I'm sure
Kennedy,
somebody
yeah.
thought they were fine, but it wasn't that for me. I just was just like, look how she carries herself, how she moves about. And to me, that was beautiful.
Yeah.
The things that young people seem to be chasing have timestamps. Those aren't things they're not long haul. Those aren't character things. And we have been taught to value things that have no value. What we should be focusing on are things like community, right? But that takes effort. But I can go down to Forever 21 and I can put this on and I can, instead of figuring out why do I feel like I need to have my ass out to get men's attention, instead of figuring that out, I'm just going to put my ass out to get men's attention. That those conversations that need to take place in the pursuit of excellence and in living a fully authentic life of integrity, ain't nobody got time for that.
At all.
I'll just suck on this secret lollipop over here and just keep it moving.
I read, or actually I saw kind of a video that my director sent me, and it was talking about this book called The Black, not the bougie, but what was it? He's not even listening. Bourgeoisie.
Yes.
It was The Black Bourgeoisie. The book was written in the 1950s.
Okay.
And so the author, and I don't know his name, we'll probably put it up, spoke about how even during the 50s that there was these levels to blackness. So when we first got emancipated, and even before then, we had an understanding of, inside slave, outside slave. And a lot of the inside slaves wore garments that the master wore. They had the same type of moral compass that the master had. So we're talking about marriage, a husband and wife, kids. We're talking about one lover. We're talking about standards of living, right? And so once things start to become, more free for some of these people, they became, and of course they were mulattoes, but they became the first, the bourgeoisie, right? But over time, people started to gain their freedom. And the bourgeoisie, because it was two different types. It was the bourgeoisie and it was all the others. So they called it the slave mentality. And the slave mentality was, there was no moral compass because they had to survive. So you're talking about women who would have sex with multiple men to bear multiple children. And the father didn't have to be there, didn't have to marry, didn't have to stick around, stay with that one woman. He was a buck. And so he would just go from woman to woman having sex. Well, that was a different moral path. And in fact, they didn't even consider it a moral path. But anyway, what this author is saying is even in the 1950s, they glorified a lower vibrational or bright vibration of black people, meaning like even the music, like the blues, certain type of blues artists, certain type of juke joint performers. It was the lower of our vibration. It was put on a pedestal, and it was given a face, a place, and money was back behind it by whites.
Who put it? Oh, so whites put it on a
Yes.
pedestal. But see, for me, this is kind of twisted. But the way I see it, they have to have something like that to be able to point to, this is why we're better than you. If you're looking at, if you're comparing yourself to the bourgeoisie that are just as educated as you, that are living next door to you, or the only reason they're not living next door to you is because you won't allow them in the neighborhood, but they could probably buy 2 or 3 of the homes that you're living in. These people that are over here, that are cooning and doing all that kind of stuff, we need them because we can always say we're better than them.
Yeah.
So that's where that comes in my mind.
Yeah.
That's how I play that.
But isn't it funny how it started even back then, and it's still continuing now?
Oh yeah, it's amazing. Every once in a while I'll get pulled into an argument on social media, and I said something about the inflation or things getting so expensive, and this guy said to me, it's not my fault that you don't have a job or blah. And I was like, ooh, baby, I'm glad you said that to me.
I got time today.
I got time. Do you want me to send you pictures of the house? Like, they automatically assume if you have an issue with something, it's because because they think very individual again. And I'm just like, I'm talking about the community, you know? Maybe I'm vegan, but it does bother me that eggs are expensive. Do I eat them? No.
Yeah.
But somebody I love does.
Right.
And people are just like,
tunnel vision.
Unless it doesn't affect me, I don't care. And I don't believe that. And I think that's where that all comes from.
You know, for the longest, I thought that people were like us. I came to Atlanta and I only saw and met people like us, upper mobility, right? Educated, because most of us went to college that I knew.
It wasn't even a conversation.
It was not a conversation. It was what school did you go to, not did you, right? And so for the longest, I had this idea that it was just us. And then slowly and surely, I started to realize, wait a minute, there's another sector here in Atlanta. And they're not playing. A lot of them probably came from Atlanta, but the implants, we were all educated. We were all taken over, building businesses and so on and so forth. But I'm saying for years, I did not know that there was a whole other group of people that did not have. And people used to tell me that, like, you know, Black people, we're not all da-da-da-da. I was like, what?
Yeah, you know what's interesting about that? During the years of The Cosby Show.
Yeah.
I remember watching The Cosby Show, and it was entertaining, but it wasn't foreign to me. It wasn't foreign to me at all. And so when people would later on make it like it was a big deal, I'm like, have you been to Sabbath dinner at a Seventh-day Adventist? Doctor, lawyer, dentist, everybody is a professional. So to me, it's like, for people to be surprised by that, so I completely agree with you, not knocking, because there are people that can buy you over 10 times that did not go to college, and they're an entrepreneur, and there's a lot of that here in Atlanta. But that's why I'm saying, that's why they like to elevate that stereotypical Black person, because it's hard for them to wrap their head around somebody who can go toe-to-toe with them. Bernard and I in 2016, Bernard bought a Porsche Panamera, and we were living in LA.
Well, I feel like wait, did I ride in this Porsche?
You may have.
He picked me up from the airport. I was like, what's happening here?
And I don't say that to sound disgusting, but there's a reason why I'm sharing that it was a Porsche Panamera. So we were going out of town, and for whatever reason, we drove it to the parking spot in Los Angeles airport. And before we got there, No. We were picking it up. That's what it was. We were picking it up. And there was a white gentleman there with the same exact car, but his was blue. So Bernard and I were standing with our suitcases, and they bring ours, it's like a candy apple red. And he had been standing there like this. And when he saw our car, you could literally see him, his posture drop. Because if they can have it, have I really done anything? Didn't you feel that way, babe? That's how you could just see he physically just like, because we were standing there with our, so he's probably, you know.
Wait till they see what I'm rolling up in.
And our car pulled up, he just like, I was like, wow. They never want to see, with everything that's going on now in this government, if it were never true, which it always has been, it is truer today than ever. They don't want you to have anything.
You can do okay. You can't do better than them.
And if you do, it is a complete aberration and a fluke, where we're saying this is every day.
I mean, whole Black communities have been destroyed because we were able to invest in our own communities and build them up. We didn't need other sectors.
But see, what was going on then, I had this long conversation with a friend, and he was saying, we have to value our own stuff. As long as we value what's outside, we will never get there. And that's what was going on then. We valued our own stuff. Everything was, everything was right here. And then once that was destroyed, we started looking over here. $12 million a day in Target, Black people.
Isn't that crazy? 12. And we are having, so much pride to have our product in that store. I've got friends, personal friends, who had their products in that Target store. And I remember the journey, and I remember how proud she was, or they were. And then come to find out, Target was jipping them left and right. Crumbs. Going into debt to put yourself into a store that had a clear indicator they didn't care about you.
And so when I was talking earlier about the direct connection and speaking to God directly, that's what I see with in entrepreneurship as well. Once that middle person is in there, that's where that's the slip up right there. Like, go direct to consumer, go direct to God. Cut out the middle person. Man.
Who created that? That's
a capitalist
an
tool.
Abomination. Okay, let's talk about you and being a chef. So she's an amazing chef, guys. She's worked with so many people. One of the folks that I know is Will Smith. Who else have you worked with, and maybe even companies?
I have, for the past 5 years, I've chefed for Yankee ace Garrett Cole and his family. Alvin Kamara of the New Orleans Saints. I have cooked for Pauletta Washington, Denzel's wife. I've cooked for Russell Simmons. I have cooked for Sir Lucian Grange, who is the head. His son married Sophia Richie. That's probably how people know him, but he's a big, big deal. Robert F. Smith and his wife, Hope Smith, I've cooked for them. I've had some great opportunities. And I am beyond grateful.
You started out, I mean, I know you can cook meat because you've cooked meat for us before, but would you say that a lot of folks that hired you wanted a more vegan or clean lifestyle?
Clean, yes, because when you cook with athletes, they're very disciplined, and entertainers are very, very disciplined. You can have a full spread of stuff, and they'll take one bite and walk off. So both of those groups are disciplined. So when you are cooking and preparing for them, especially if it's for a film, and I've always cooked for Will Smith during films, and with Garrett, the baseball player, and Alvin, the football player, they were training. So if there's any time that you're going to try to keep it real clean, it's during that time. So yes.
I'm just going to ask this because I'm sure people are going to want to know. What type of things does Will Smith like about your food, or what sort of things does he like to eat? Like when you're preparing for him, what are you doing?
I really can't speak to what of mine. I mean, he complimented me, but he's a really nice guy, so we don't know. He is a very disciplined person. He likes sweets, but he's very disciplined. I mean, it's he locks in.
That's good.
I really can't give any insight. I know he loves soul food. He loves soul food, but he's incredibly disciplined in his diet.
I love that. I love that. Moving on to marriage, before I do get to marriage, I did have a question about more of the spiritual side again. Have you noticed, or did it ever bother you within the Christian church or the Seventh-day Adventist church that the most spiritual groups of people were not allowed to be heads of churches, meaning women?
Oh.
Did that ever bother you? Because it's always bothered me.
Okay, so I grew up in San Francisco, California. And the church that I went to, it was full of badass women, full of like alpha females, right? And so
I never
experienced that.
It's
I
like
never
that
experienced that. Yeah.
It's like that.
I didn't come to the South till I was in college, but I grew up with badass women, like in and out of church. And there are women that I could call off right now that just, they handled it. So I did not even recognize that was a thing until much later in my life. But it is confusing to me because the person who basically created the entire denomination was a woman. So I just like right there, it's hard for me to reconcile that.
And we're talking
and because
about
I can't, because I can't reconcile that, I can't even get into any.
That is the weirdest thing.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I mean, if you think about that, really think about that.
Yeah. Can't trust it.
Can't trust it. Marriage. My dear friend, marriage. You've been married for?
I've been married for 13 years.
Hey!
Yes, I was a seasoned bride.
Okay.
I got married 2 months shy of my 41st birthday.
Can you tell me the thing, and I may have to remind you, what was the promise you made to God? Do you remember this story you told me years ago? You were like, God, if you I promise.
Yeah. If you bless me with this man, I promise you that I will honor that blessing.
You said
that I wouldn't take it for granted.
Steward.
Yeah, I wanted to be a good steward as a wife. And I grew up with a great example of a woman in my mother. And I grew up with great examples of what it meant to be a man in my father and in my brother. And I always say it is because of them I was able to make the great decision that I did in who I married.
Marriage now, what does that look like? And we're probably going to have to get Bernard to come over here. But what do you think you've learned about yourself when it came to getting married? Because you know you're bringing one and one together. What have you learned?
I've learned that you have got to get comfortable with uncomfortable conversations. I have learned that when you are dating someone, who they are is who they are. And one of the greatest mistakes that women make is they think, oh, I'll just change that. I'm not worried about that. I'll just change once we get married. And then, you know, I hesitate to speak on men, but I think that men don't think things are going to change. Women think they're going to go in and just manipulate, which is that's what it is. You think you're just going to go in and manipulate. One of the pieces of advice that I got from my brother, because while both my father and my brother informed my decision, my brother and I talk a lot, and he's given me a lot of information. I just had a brain fart.
This can be cut.
I remember it now. That who that person is who they are. If you're not happy with who that person is, period.
And the fullness.
They're just not for you. They're not, it's not like he's not a jerk. He's not a dick. She's not a, you know, that's just not the person for you.
Right.
And so I was able to date people and be like, you know, once I realized that they weren't for me, but I got all of this from this person. I genuinely felt like that. And I was just thinking today as we were driving in, I was thinking about the one person who like broke my heart. And I thought to myself today, I'm so grateful that he broke my heart. I'm so grateful that that was dead in the water. Seriously, I can thank him because what that spurred me, the crying, the questioning, the, you know, why was I so okay with being this person, or that journey that it set me on that prepared me for who I'm with.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, Bernard's not half shabby. We love the both of you guys. But I do want to see how this rocks. Like, I want to talk to him. But before I do that, my last question I have for you, and I ask everybody this. You're going to see God, right? What do you want God to say to you?
Well done.
Why?
Because we are all given something to do in this life. And as I talk about the pursuit of excellence and authenticity, the way in which we move about the world is a form of worship. How seriously we take life is a form of worship, because we're all products of the divine, the creator. And he gave us things, and it's not always what you're doing in your vocation. It could be, you know, that you opened the door and somebody was delivering a package and you said, "How are you?" And you made them feel seen. They felt like they mattered in that moment. All of these things are what God gives us to do. It's not only the big things, it's how we move about the world. So for me to be able to stand before God and for him to say, with everything I've blessed you with, Cynthia, the big and the small, well done.
You think you've done it?
I'm definitely moving in that direction. I'm definitely moving in that direction because I am much more aware of how I affect things as I move about. You know, seeing how people react and respond to me. When I say certain things, how, you know, I'm stepping into the fullness of who the Divine One created me to be. And I realize that because I'm doing that, it's a whole new level of responsibility.
Listen, let me tell you something. It's not
for the weak.
It's not for the weak. Sometimes I feel it and I'm like, wow, I am really in my path. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes I'm like, Lord, let me see that light again. Where this path going on to? It's not for the weak.
But it's because of your diligence, because it's in Proverbs, and I always forget exactly where, but the verse says, because I still refer to the Bible. I'm not like, but seest thou a man who is diligent in his work? He will stand before kings and not mean men. And all that is the pursuit of excellence.
Yeah.
When you're doing that, you don't have to. All the opportunities I have had with these big names just landed in my lap. Literally, I had never done anything like this when I got a phone call to cook for Will Smith in Savannah, Georgia. Mm-hmm. And I averaged 7 miles a day walking around that kitchen. I had never done it before, but God said, I can trust you with this opportunity, Cynthia.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
And I was like, and he did it again and again and again. And anybody who works in the celebrity world knows if they keep calling you back, you're handling your business. So I'm like, wow, God, this is the gift you've given me? So I am so grateful every single day. Every single day I'm grateful. That's a practice that Bernard and I have, that what we're grateful for, what we're releasing, and what we're looking to manifest every single day. We keep going back to that because when you are grateful and you're diligent, I mean, the world being an oyster, there's no limit.
Yeah. I definitely told you years ago that you're definitely an inspiration, but just watching your journey is inspiring me. And I see your stories. I see you talking on social media, and I watch, and I'm like, I'm not going to comment just yet. But I watch, and I see you, and I see the growth, and I see the path, and I see the light. Is there anything else you want to leave on the dance floor? Meaning, is there anything you want to talk about that's on your heart right now? This is two things. One of them is going to sound really off the wall, but I'm going to say it. We have got to we're all interconnected. It's so easy for us to not worry about what's happening over here because we don't think it affects us until it affects us, right? That's happening over and over and over again in America, where I didn't think he was talking about me, right? And then they show up and they take your mother-in-law. Mm-hmm. So when I think about that and I extrapolate that, for example, into environment, we were in the Amazon a couple weeks ago. There's so much destruction happening in the Amazon. Do you know that the Amazon are the lungs of the world? Wow.
The lungs of the world. What happens when we don't have lungs?
And you mean like it filters our carbon dioxide?
Literally.
Yeah.
The Amazon is for the world, and they're chopping down, they're destroying the Amazon every single day. And when I got there and I had a conversation, I realized that I was like, but it's so easy because we're in Atlanta and you just walk out and you just breathe and stuff just happens.
Barely. Okay, it's not easy here.
Stuff just happens and you're just like, think of these people that are running around in loincloths with spears, eating snakes or whatever, and you think they're silly, and they are the ones that are helping you breathe because of the practices that they've incorporated and how they are so full of integrity and how they approach the earth. Because of those little savages, you're able to live.
That part.
The world, we're so interconnected, and I just wish that people would be much more responsible and just think about what you're doing. Just think about what you're doing. It's so easy because, it's just like you eat a steak because it comes on a plate. If you had to kill that cow, you wouldn't be eating steak.
You wouldn't be. You'd be a vegetarian quick.
That's the space that we're in.
Yeah.
Until it comes to our front door.
It doesn't exist.
We can't. So the Amazon is something that really, really struck me. And I can't remember the other thing what I was going to say. That's all right. I can't remember the other one. I've been talking long enough.
I love that. Okay, so we're going to bring Bernard. Do you want to Come.
Let's do this. Close this out.
Okay.
And
I already did. Oh, you mean like the whole thing? Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
and let's do it separate.
Okay, cool. All right, so good. So that's good. Cynthia, tell everybody where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram. I am Vegan Adjacent by Cynthia Péan. You can find me on LinkedIn as Cynthia Chea Pean. My business is Afkave Afro Carib Vegan. Facebook, Cynthia Chea Pean. TikTok, Cynthia Péan. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, my beloved Cynthia, thank you for coming in and blessing us with your presence.
Thank you.
I'm so happy you're here.
Yay.
Now we got to talk about what we're doing afterwards. Guys, if you like this type of content, and I know you do, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. And of course, if you want to get in contact with us directly, make sure to email us at info@smittyand.com or info@smittyand.com. Again, info@smittyand.com. And again, guys, take care of one another.